Hello everybody, Father Matthew here, and I want to show you how to do the ironing for the church linens. So you can see I've taken the linens and just a small sample here and have run them through the washer. They have not gone in the dryer at all, so they're still wet. So you get your nice little mass here, and probably first thing that I would do is open everything up so I can sort of see general shapes of things. All right, so now once they're opened up, what I typically tend to do is just whatever's on top. Now this is probably one that you aren't going to see very often. It's called the amice, and it is pretty large. It also has the really nice strings on it, which I will tell you are usually a pain in the butt because they usually get tangled up. So first thing I do with the amice, I need to move my iron slightly because it's a little bit bigger. Is I just start to give it the general flatten it out. I always have to watch my fingers as it gets a little warm. Okay. So once I've done this, start to flatten it.
Okay.
So now you can see it's somewhat done, but then I fold it in half. And try to line everything up. And starting where the crease is, try to flatten it out as much as I can because I want to fold that crease right in there. And then again, I'm going to take it in half. One more time. And a last time. Then I take the bottom up to the side where the strings are, and I fold it one more time. And this is the true last time. So when I'm done folding and ironing the amice, and you have to be careful, it's a little hot still, it's going to be a square. Then if you like me, or you like Father John, the fun is actually taking the strings and running the iron over them. So this is the before, this is the after. And it's just a straw, it's a single one. And I'm not going to do both of them because we want to do more in the video. And then you just wrap them around the square so it looks like that when you're done. That's the amice. All right, next, this is the corporal, or this is the purificator, sorry. You're gonna notice that it's not square, but it's rectangular. So anything that is rectangular does not get folded like I just showed you, because this is what we use with the chalices and the precious blood. So once again, you're gonna fold this, or you're gonna start ironing this, where you're gonna put the hem side down. And because this linen is a little bit thinner, you're going to try to keep it as even with the edges as you possibly can. But I realize it gets really wonky really quickly. So again, fold it down, straight down. Now with the purificator, because I realize this is a rectangle, I'm actually going to flip it so that the clean side is down and the hem side is up. And then I'm going to fold a third, and it honestly does not matter if you're going from top to bottom or bottom to top, but just for consistency, I'm going to go from bottom to top here. And a third of the way. So now it looks like this. Then I'll take the third from the top, and I'm going to come up and trying not, still keeping it square. So now it's going to be a really long rectangle. Then this does not get folded in thirds, it gets folded in half. And here the cross should be somewhere towards the top. Now, if they were made perfectly, the cross would be just at the very top, but the cross isn't exactly there, and that's okay. So I'm going to fold it and iron it on both sides. And you have your purificator. This is how they get used, because in the sacristy, they will open it up and place it on top of a chalice just like this. And then when it gets set on the altar, they get set there so that when people are distributing communion, they can open it up and start to just use it to wipe the rim of the chalice. So you want these to be long rectangles when they're done. So the rectangle should look like a rectangle when it's done, pretty long. The corporal should look like a square when it's done, and they're just going to be square. Okay. All right, so my next one is this large piece of linen. You can see that it is generally a square, which is fantastic. So again, start with it so that the hem side is down, and you're thinking that this is what's going to lay on the altar itself. So starting from whatever you consider the top, because it's a square, all the sides are the same. You just start working your way down. Now, I said all the sides are the same, which is a true statement. This one happens to have the cross in the middle. If there's a cross that's towards the end or towards one side or the other, that'll be the bottom. So the cross is always facing towards the priest when this is placed on the altar. So I'm trying to get all of the folds and wrinkles out so that it's going to do this a little nicer. So round one was just to get as much of it as you can. Then with your ironing board, you want to try to get the center on the center of your ironing board. You're going to pull up and you want about 1/3 of the corporal. And you're going to see that as I'm folding this up, the hem is going to be now visible because this is the way it's going to lay on the altar. So I'm going to iron this. Then I'm going to take the top third and come down. Here you have decided actually what is top and what is bottom. And again, I'm going to iron it. And if you have put these in the dryer, you may want to have a water bottle on here because you might need to do a little bit of spritzing just to give it a little bit of moisture. You don't want them completely damp, but you don't also want them completely dry. You want that happy medium. Then you've now got a nice long rectangle. The cross is going to be on the bottom if it's a center cross. If it's a bottom cross, the cross you won't see because it'll be on the inside fold. And I see that I kind of messed up, but not really. Good thing I just opened that so I could see that. And it's all right if it's not perfectly lined up. You want a general square. Then you start and you'll want to take your left hand and fold it 1/3 again. 3 is the perfect number, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. So we're always doing a corporal in thirds. And then we're taking the right side and folding it to the center. I'm going to just do a little bit on the back because this is still kind of wet. But when you're done, it's going to look like this. It'll be a nice square. So the really large square is now 1/3 of the size that it had been. And when you are folding it, the cross should be on the bottom because that's how it will get placed on both on the altar and on top of the chalice when we use it at Mass. I'm going to do a smaller corporal now for you. That was the large corporal. Again, with the corporal, you're going to want to do the hem side is going to go down. The cross, you can see, is towards one side, so that'll become my bottom. So as I lay it flat on the ironing board, you're going to notice that I've not used any spray starch on any of this, and that's kind of been intentional. It's not as important on the corporals because they aren't used with the precious blood, but we want them to be as absorbent as possible, and spray starch mitigates the absorption factor on it. So we try not to do it, and that's why we are actually ironing these while they are still a little wet. Okay, so now I've gotten the first go through. I'm going to again try to find where the center is. based on here. So my center is about right there. Remember, it's a third up. And now you're just kind of eyeballing it, trying to get it as straight as possible. Don't worry if you're not 100% accurate. You don't need a tape measure or a ruler or anything like that. Pretty simple. Then I'm going to fold from the left side first. Then I'll do the right side to the center.
So bottom, top, left, right.
And again, when this gets placed on the altar or when it gets placed on top of the chalice, the fold is on top so that it can easily be opened. And you can see that there's not really a cross visible, and that's okay because it's on the inside. The last piece of linen that you're going to have is actually the lavabo towel. This one looks like just a regular hand towel because that's what it is. You can put these honestly just in the dryer. You don't need to use the iron. I'm going to use the iron on it because mine is pretty wet still. So I'm using the iron more as a dryer than anything else. These do not need to be ironed. They simply need to be folded. And there is no real wrong way to fold them. I know some people or some priests like them like the purificator fold. So it looks like that when you're done. Some people just do the half fold and half fold. So it looks like that when you're done. Either way, it's going to be fine. It can be refolded. These don't need to be ironed. It's all right if they are kind of wrinkly because they're just used to wipe the hands. And the server comes up and just holds it off like that. So it'll get opened up during Mass anyway. So even here, I just did the fourth fold so it could look like that. However you want to fold them, you're going to be just fine. The last thing to say, and I don't have them in my laundry basket here, is sometimes you're going to get towels that are bigger. We use those at baptism. And again, they can just be put in the washer and then in the dryer. If you see there's a lot of oil, if you can just pre-soak them to get the oil out as much as possible, that should go into the ground somewhere. I should have said the same thing with the purificator. If they're wet and they haven't dried, soak them so that the precious blood goes into the water, it goes into the ground, and then you can put it in your washing machine. The smaller towels that we have, which we used to use once upon a time as a purificator, those are now hand towels as well that we use at baptisms. So they can go in the dryer. They don't need to be specially ironed, but they can just be folded. And I think they get folded in quarters. So thank you so much for your ministry of laundry. I know it doesn't sound like the most exciting ministry, but it is one of the most necessary ministries because you are allowing us to have really beautiful linens at the altar, and we use them every Sunday and every day as we are celebrating Mass. So we are so grateful for your ministry. Thank you. God bless you.